This five-star hotel with its commanding waterfront location is a real favorite with locals and tourists alike. From the impressive lobby of the Pan Pacific Hotel, good evening and welcome to the Christmas edition of Red's Classic Theater. And we'll show you more of the Pan Pacific Hotel and bring you up to date on some of the holiday festivities taking place in and around Vancouver. Our movie this week is the 1954 Paramount production, White Christmas. It stars Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Now, according to some of the crew involved, all was not well on the set of tonight's film. In fact, two of the screenwriters described the filming as 8 terrible weeks of shouting and screaming. Now, some of that had to do with Danny Kaye's embarrassment at being the third choice to play the role of Phil Davis. It irked Kaye that the studio had first tried Fred Astaire and Donald O'Connor before asking him. More about that later. Right now, here's Act 1 of White Christmas. Vancouver has the distinction of being the only city in North America to serve as home to 3 five-diamond hotels, one of which is our location tonight, the Pan Pacific. Now, the rating is determined by the American Automobile Association and is reserved for properties renowned for uncompromising standards of excellence in all aspects of operations. The Pan Pacific shares the honor in Vancouver with Le Méridien and the Four Seasons. Now, to give you an idea of how the other half lives, we've come up here to the 23rd floor of the Pan Pacific to what is affectionately known as the Chuck and Di Suite. Now, during Expo 86, the royal couple stayed here for 7 days. Now, the suite includes 2 bedrooms, 4 baths, a study, and a formal dining room. It's a privilege just to be here because only a select few ever get to view it. As a matter of fact, our time is almost up. We'll show you a little bit more right after these words. Well, our time here at the Royal Suite at the Pan Pacific Hotel is almost up. Now, if you're looking for entertainment over the holiday season, here are some recommendations. The musical production of A Christmas Carol continues at the Waterfront Theater on Granville Island. Call 685-6217 for tickets. Also on Granville Island, at the Arts Club Theater, Reflections on Crooked Walking. Phone 687-1644 for reservations. At the CN IMAX Theater, right here by the hotel, the Rolling Stones at the Max plays a limited engagement beginning December 26. Call 682-IMAX for information. And finally, the New Play Center presents The Voices of Christmas at the Vancouver East Cultural Center. Call 254-9578 for reservations. And now let's return to White Christmas. Hope you're enjoying White Christmas on Red's Classic Theater as we relax at the beautiful Pan Pacific Hotel in downtown Vancouver. As we mentioned earlier, tension on the set of White Christmas was an everyday occurrence. Actor Dean Jagger, who plays the general, was upset because they made him wear a hairpiece. He said he felt more comfortable being bald. And Czech-born director Michael Curtis insisted that each and every joke in the script be explained to him. Now, this was a long, tedious process, and in the end it was fruitless because Curtis never did come to understand North American humor. But the studio didn't mind backstage goings-on as long as their new widescreen movie format called VistaVision came out looking good. Paramount had developed VistaVision to compete with 20th Century Fox's CinemaScope. Both studios claimed superiority, but in fact, the formats were virtually identical. Also looking good were Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. They were voted among the top 10 box office stars of the year. Crosby squarely at number 1, Kaye close behind at number 3. And now back to White Christmas featuring Rosemary Clooney. From the Pan Pacific Hotel, it's time to acknowledge some of the letters you've been sending in. Now, it's impossible to get all of your letters on the air, but we do keep them on file, and we're putting our requests in to Hollywood. So if you're real good, maybe Santa will give us some of those classic movies in 1993. Some recent requests? Karen Fix from Pitt Meadows wrote us way back in August. She'd like to see Sentimental Journey with John Payne and Maureen O'Hara. Valerie Madden from Surrey requested Belle Starr, starring Gene Tierney and Randolph Scott. And if you have a movie favorite or the suggestion of a location, write to Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. Coming up next week on Red's Classic Theater, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau star in the comedy The Odd Couple. And in 2 weeks, we start the new year with The Best Years of Our Lives, a story of 3 World War II veterans readjusting to civilian life, a true classic. And now back to White Christmas. Hope you're enjoying our presentation of White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye on Red's Classic Theater. We're at the Pan Pacific Hotel in Vancouver this week. During the filming of White Christmas, Bing Crosby had a lot more than just the movie on his mind. He'd met a young would-be actress on the Paramount lot by the name of Catherine Grant. Early in 1955, though 30 years younger than him, she would become the second Mrs. Crosby. Bing's first wife, Dixie Lee, had died of cancer the previous year. Songwriter Irving Berlin had something on his mind, too. Berlin worried about how Crosby would perform his song White Christmas on this occasion, and why he was concerned is a mystery, because by the time tonight's movie was made, the song was already a huge success. It was first heard, by the way, sung by Crosby in the 1942 movie Holiday Inn, and was a million seller many times over. Berlin had little cause for concern. Crosby did a great rendition the second time around in the movie White Christmas, and it sold another 1 million copies, and continues to sell to this day. Now let's return to White Christmas. From the beautiful Pan Pacific Hotel in downtown Vancouver, it's time for our movie trivia quiz. Over a span of 20 years, Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, and Dorothy Lamour appeared in 7 road pictures. The first was Road to Singapore in 1940. What was the last? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. And with a tinkling piano in the background here at the Pan Pacific Hotel, here's the answer to our movie trivia quiz. The 7th and final road picture that starred Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, and Dorothy Lamour was Road to Hong Kong, made in 1962. And now back to Bing Crosby and White Christmas. Well, with the playing of White Christmas in the background here at the beautiful Pan Pacific Hotel, that concludes this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. We certainly hope you enjoyed White Christmas starring Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Be sure to join us next Sunday night on Red's Classic Theater for The Odd Couple, starring Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, one of the great comedies of all time. In the meantime, if you have a motion picture you'd like to see or the suggestion of a location, why don't you send us a Christmas card? It's not too late. Write to Red Robinson, Television 12 in Vancouver. We'd like to thank Tom Butler for arranging for our visit here to the gorgeous Pan Pacific Hotel. Thanks for being with us. And this is our opportunity 5 days before Christmas, on behalf of the crew and myself, to wish you and yours the very best of Christmases. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, everybody, and good night. White Christmas on Red's Classic.